pal Big D and Cobb back here again with another movie review. And this one is for the recently released direct-to-video of Injustice. Based upon the DC video game. There's actually been 2 of them, I believe.
Yes.
At this point. Injustice 1 and 2. This is a completely different story, which you're usually used to with a DC movie, because the biggest thing is it deals with Superman kind of turning. Not necessarily being a bad guy, but
thinks he's doing is good.
Yeah, thinks he's doing is good, but in reality it's not. Mm-hmm. So this just came out on DVD and Blu-ray about 2 weeks ago. It stars, the 2 main voices that are in there is let's see, Anson Mount, who plays, oddly enough, he plays Captain Pike on the new Star Trek series. He did the voice of Batman. And oh gosh, I all of a sudden forgot his name. Justin Hartley. He did the voice of Superman. And the funny thing about Justin Hartley is he played Aquaman in a pilot episode they were going to do for an Aquaman TV show many, many years ago. When that didn't work, he ended up going on to Green Arrow and being the Green Arrow in Smallville. So he definitely has a background with DC. He played Green Arrow for several years on Smallville. So, but this story essentially is, it opens up with, and this, actually, we want to preface this to begin with. This is a spoiler review. We are gonna spoil things here. The reason why we pretty much decided to do this was, number one, it's been out for a few weeks, but also, two, it's part of a video game series that's been out for several years now, and they didn't really divert to, I mean,
there's a couple things.
Yeah, Jacob's played the video games a lot more than I have, but according to him, like, they didn't, certain people still died that they were supposed to die that were in the video games, so it's in the overall premise of the story is they haven't changed it all from the video games. Yeah.
I mean, the bad guy's different, but...
Yeah, so what you have in this is the movie opens up with Clark Kent and Lois Lane. They're at home, and they realize that she's pregnant, which would be their first child. You know, in the comic book universe that he does have a couple kids, and you know, the Superman TV series currently on right now is dealing with that, with his 2 sons that are in their teenagers. So obviously he's really happy, but the Joker for some reason is in Metropolis, and they can't figure out why. Batman comes to town. He's trying to figure out why the Joker's there. Well, we find out a few minutes later the Joker's there to create mayhem. He's going to try to flip Superman,
like always.
Yeah, make Superman, because he's tried to flip Batman for years and hasn't really been able to do it.
And he says that like there's someone new he wants to play with.
Yeah, so Superman's the guy. So what he does is he first kills Jimmy Olsen,
which was really, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming at all. And then he kills Lois and basically nukes all of Metropolis. Well, essentially what happened was the Joker put this device on her chest next to her heart that with a bomb attached to it, and as long as her heart was still beating,
like a heart monitor.
Yeah, heart monitor. The bomb wouldn't go off. But what the Joker did was he had stolen some of Scarecrow's gas and used it on Superman. So Superman thought that Lois Lane was Joker, when in reality it wasn't. It was Lois Lane. And
another thing I wanted to point out is I have this one game, part of the Arkham series, called Arkham Origins, and Joker does the similar thing with Bane. He puts a heart monitor on Bane, and if Batman kills Bane, it shows Batman he's bad, he's a killer. But Batman had like these electric gloves and disabled the heart monitor, so he did not kill Bane.
Yeah.
So it was really, really similar to what the situation was here, and I'm sure that's where he took a page off of his crime.
So essentially what ended up happening was he took who he thought was the Joker and flew up into space, and then realized as the gas wore off that it was Lois. Mm-hmm. Lois died in his arms right there while they're in space, and of course the heart monitor stopped and Metropolis was nuked.
Yes.
There is no more Metropolis in this movie. So obviously at that point Superman comes to the realization that he's got to change. Obviously all of his hatred is towards the Joker. Mm-hmm. They catch the Joker and Batman's interrogating him when Superman comes out of nowhere and flies in and just destroys the Joker, kills him.
Punches right through the heart.
Right through his heart and just kills him instantly, which obviously set Batman off, because Batman's like, whoa, wait a minute, we don't kill, we capture and put in Arkham Asylum.
I mean, Batman's not mad at Superman for killing a villain
the Joker,
he's been fighting for years.
And they bring up a real point, too. He's like, how many times do you capture him and put him in Arkham? He keeps escaping. Mm-hmm. When's enough? You know, he's like, Bruce, when's enough? And he's right, when's enough? How many times has the Joker killed millions of, well, not billions, but hundreds of people and done so many bad things to Batman himself? mention to all of his friends and family around him, and then, let's be honest, he killed one of the Robins,
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a guy that's obviously
Jason
very
Todd.
evil, yeah. So essentially, Wonder Woman sides with Superman, saying that we have to be stronger. We've got to end this violence. We've got to do this thing. And Superman's decided now he's going to become the judge and jury. Basically, they're going to go around and they're not going to allow war to happen anymore. They're not going to allow other things to happen. And so it splits the Justice League down the middle. Some are on Superman's side, some are on Batman's side. And so you kind of go through the story of Superman trying to do all these things, which he thinks is really good because he's trying to save people, but in reality, he's hurting a lot of people too. And you start seeing, the Flash dies at one point.
Well, the Flash dies because of Joker.
Because of Joker,
Yes.
yeah, when he goes up on Scarecrow. But the Flash dies, and of course the movie Hawkman dies, and who else died?
Cyborg dies.
Green Arrow died. They killed a lot of the Justice League throughout this movie. In this big battle of basically Superman versus Batman, with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, I feel through the whole movie was egging Superman on, and towards the end of the movie, she's like, "Well, you can't do this anymore." It's like, "Well, wait a minute. This whole movie, you've been telling him, you're right. You got to do this." Matter of fact, there's a couple times in the earlier part of the movie where Superman was like kind of questioning, maybe I shouldn't do this, and Wonder Woman kept pushing him more and more to do it, and at the last minute, she's like, "Nah." It's like, well, wait a minute, and they go back and forth for a long time, and ends up happening is Nightwing dies. He's killed by
Damian Wayne.
Damian Wayne kills by accident, Nightwing, and Nightwing ends up getting recreated by a spirit.
It's called Deadwing.
Yeah, now he's called Deadwing, and he comes back to try to help all this stuff out.
Mostly Damian, though.
Yeah, Damian decides to go to his grandfather, which is Ra's al Ghul, and he's learned from him, and gets Superman to pair up with Ra's al Ghul, because Ra's al Ghul is probably, I can build this robot that will help protect everybody, and there won't be any issues anymore. Well, obviously Ra's al Ghul is a bad guy to begin with, a very bad guy. Of course, he double crosses Superman, this robot, which is a learning robot that can anticipate moves and learns from the other Leaguers. So at the end of the movie, he's got this robot there, and he's fighting people, and they just destroying the Justice League,
and the city too.
Yeah,
like
the city.
One little thing that you do. So the robot is detected the crimes that you do, and one little thing, you're dead.
Yeah, so like you basically litter and you're dead. I mean, it's like it's that extreme, and so then the League has to fight this robot, which this robot's very, very powerful. And in a lot of ways, it's defeating the Justice League.
What was it called again?
I can't remember, but I know it was the one that killed Cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, killed Cyborg,
the giant
and Hawkman too, because he stepped on Hawkman's head and just crushed it. So ultimately, they go back and forth. They finally do defeat. They finally defeat with the help of, because who was it that went back into another universe?
It was Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific went to another universe and brought over the Superman that we really know, because they weren't. We find out at that point we're in Earth 2, I think it was,
or Earth 21.
Yeah, or something like that. One of those Earths. So they go back to Earth Prime, which is the main Superman, is the Superman we all know and grew up with, the one you see Christopher Reeve play, stuff like that. They bring that Superman to their verse to try to talk the other Superman to stop doing all this nonsense, the cease and desist. And he fights that Superman too and beats him. Mm-hmm. This Superman on Earth 2 or 22 or whatever it is like really strong.
Yeah, because he's
also using his emotions.
Yeah.
So his anger, his fear, his hatred. So he beats that Superman, and once they destroy the robot, he kind of realizes what he had done was wrong.
Well, no, not only that. When they destroy the robot, but they bring Lois back.
That's right. They bring the Lois from that universe also, and when he sees her, she talks to him and kind of knocks his head straight. Mind you, she's pregnant, so on Earth Prime, she's pregnant too. So she comes in and says, "Look, you can't do this. This is not who you are. I know who you are. You can't do it." And she talks him out of stopping everything. Not only talks him stop everything, he realizes at that point that he needs to be put away in jail. He's done some atrocities he needs to pay for, and so Batman says he's got Batman essentially says we're going to lock him away and only let him out when we need his help.
Yep.
And that's kind of how that
only in that universe.
Yeah, only in that universe. They go back to the regular Prime universe, obviously something different. Something that DC has done really well is they have these alternate universes,
the multiverse,
so you can do these other really cool. Marvel's trying to do it now, but so they can do these really cool stories where you take these characters you love and make them different. Yeah. And I've always liked that aspect because Superman, we all know who he is. He's the defender of truth and justice. He's kind of the big Boy Scout that's going to save everybody, But what if they pose this in the movies a lot of times? you know, he may be good, but what if he came to Earth and he was bad? You know, he's such a powerful being. He could take over the world.
That's what everybody
really
thought,
easily. Yeah,
because he's different.
and that's what Batman still believes even to this day. He still has contingency plans set up
for everyone,
for everybody. We were surprised. The cyborg thing shocked the living daylights out of me.
When Cyborg was like about to attack Batman because they were like doing something with like the villains in the asylum, he was about to attack him, and then Batman just used this like shock thing, and Cyborg looked through his scanners, and he saw that Batman put a virus in him the first day they met.
Yeah, the first day they met, they flashed to a scene where they were first shaking hands. And when he shook hands with them for the first time, he inserted this virus in there that he could trigger if he needed to trigger it. So Batman, they really alluded this in this movie that Batman's got like a plan for every other superhero. Like if any of them go bad, Batman's ready for it. So he's the constant paranoid guy. Basically, he believes that everybody's going to go bad at some point, so he's ready. But I thought I really enjoyed this movie. I did. I know the critics really slammed it. A lot of people went online. They were talking trash about it. They didn't like it. I liked it. The only issue I really had with it was more of a drawing issue, how it was drawn. Like, every character had, like, this W right here.
Yeah.
That was for, like, their face, their chin, but it didn't look right. It just looked, because, like, I just kept seeing the big W. It was a big W. That's all it was. Like, every character, Batman, it didn't matter. Everybody had the big W. That, after a while, I was like, dude, you could have drawn, like, a chin. What's the W for?
Yeah.
But that was really the only criticism I had about it. We sat down and watched it last week, and we both just sat there and watched the whole thing. We didn't really speak hardly anything. We just watched it. No. We both enjoyed it. It is an hour and a half movie, and it's R-rated. It is. It's got some graphic violence in it. It's got a lot of language in it. There's no sex or nudity or anything like that, but it's graphic violence and it's profanity basically. So, but I thought it was a really dumb movie. I thought I haven't played the video game nearly as much as he has, but from what he had said, it follows the video game pretty well. You know,
and I don't think they'll make a second movie because a lot of the stuff that they had in that movie was a lot from the second game. Like Damien was not in the first game. He was for a little bit, but not as much. But they brought him as Robin.
Yeah, because he played a pretty big role in this movie. I was surprised how much of a role he played. You know, and they flushed out the character. They make sure you understood that it was Bruce Wayne's son, you know, and they made sure you understood that they didn't kind of just go with the... That's kind of what I liked about the movie, was they made sure they explained certain things, so you kind of were just sitting there
going,
that's what
DC does.
Yeah, why did they do this again? They'll explain it, even if it's just some regular dialogue, and they kind of just insert a little bit here and there. They make sure you understand that this is the third Robin in the series. Third Robin in the series, right?
There's no fourth, actually. Tim Drake.
Yeah, Tim Drake, yeah. So, but they help you understand that, so you're not like, especially if you're not a DC fan, or maybe you just kind of watch occasionally a movie here, a movie there, that you can still watch and follow it and understand it. Yep. I like that about it. And I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was paced pretty well. It was drawn really well, except for the W. You know, and I just really enjoyed it. Again, I'm a big fan of Anson Mount because not only was he in Star Trek, and obviously from this channel you know how much I love Star Trek, but he was also in another show called Hell on Wheels, which I was a big fan of that one. And Justin Hartley, man, I've loved everything. The guy played Ty Swindell in one of those Bad Moms movies. He was hilarious. Yeah. So my wife still walks around going, Ty Swindell. So, I mean, they're both really good actors, and they really do their voices well with this thing. And it was very believable. And again, Jimmy Olsen dying towards the beginning of the movie, I was sitting there going, what? I mean...
Right through the lens of his camera.
He's taking a picture. Poop, he's gone. And then blood's all over the place. And I was like, they just killed Jimmy Olsen. All right.
So you knew what was going to...
Yeah, it was not going to be... And they did. It wasn't just... They didn't just kill, you know, the superheroes, the good guys. They killed a lot of the bad guys too. Scarecrow died.
Yeah.
You know...
5 minutes.
What?